Okay, so today we're going to talk about measuring your tongue weight with the Sherline trailer tongue scale. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do this with a scale like this, and there's also other ways you can do it too. So we're going to talk about those today. But first, why is it important to measure your tongue weight? Well, there's a couple of factors. One, your vehicle is going to have a maximum tongue weight that it can support, and your trailer will also have the same thing. This is the trailer tongue. And if you exceed the weight capacity of your trailer, you could risk bending your frame, cracking your frame, damaging things, or also, avoiding your warranty. All right, so let's look at the scale. When you get the scale, it comes with this flat top option and also this little peg. I picked this scale, the Sherline LM1000, because it has a 1,000 pound weight limit. And the expected tongue weight on this trailer is about 156 pounds. The maximum tongue weight you can go is 15% of the dry weight, which is about 225.75 pounds for the tag. So you really want to keep this the tongue weight here under 226 pounds. So I picked this one because on a scale of 1,000, the maximum I'm going to use is about here, 220. They make a 2,000 pound model, and other scales even have higher weight limits than that. But one thing, especially with scales with gauges like this, is you want to try and have your measurements be in the middle of the gauge for the most accuracy. Now, it doesn't get truly bad when you're outside of that, but it is your most accurate measurement. So, considering the maximum of 226 pounds is here, on a 2,000 pound scale, we would barely be moving the needle at all. And that, one, would be really hard to read, and two, it's not going to be the most accurate measurement no matter what scale you use. Quick and easy way to measure it is to use a jack that you would use for any of your vehicles. So if you have that and you have a trailer tongue scale, we'll show you the easy way to do this. And that is what this little peg is for. So you'll notice this peg fits up in there nicely. So when you connect this peg to the scale, it allows you to set this scale right up in here and measure your weight exactly at the tip of the tongue, which is great. If you measure here, you need to be a little more careful and take measurements here and also here to make sure that the scale measures the exact same thing. All right, so let's get started here. So we're going to take the scale, and it fits conveniently right into the cup on the scale here, and we are going to start jacking it up. Okay, we're almost in place, and I want to point something out here. When you lift a jack, it moves a little bit. So as you're getting up to the top of the trailer tongue and you keep lifting with the jack, the scale might actually move around a little bit. See how it's starting to tip right there? And I'm going to come in real close. So this is no longer sitting flush, and you're not going to get a good measurement because of this. So here's what you want to do. You want to back the jack off just a little bit and get that seated flush in there. From there, you can lower your trailer jack onto the scale while the scale is sitting perfectly. And that's the approach you want to take. Now, it's good to have a level at this point, because what's very important is that, one, the ground is level, and two, your trailer is level when you're measuring it. So if we take a look at my garage floor here, we're right in the center of the acceptable limit. And if we put this on the trailer right now, we are not level. And we're not level because I need to lower this onto the jack a little bit, but this is very important. If you're not perfectly level, your measurement's going to come out incorrectly. All right, so I did that for demonstration purposes. We are level now. This needs to be dropped a little more, so I'm going to lower the tongue jack slightly more, and we'll end up right in the middle of that bubble there. So as you can see, we've got the scale right up in there, and what we need to do here is just lower this a little bit. Now keep an eye on this. As I lower the tongue jack here, it's going to settle right onto the scale, and you can see the weight start to increase. So you want to keep going all the way up until the wheel is off the ground. And a good indicator of that is you can move it freely. So you can see it moves, we're off the ground. The weight is properly placed on here. Now it looks to be about 140 pounds here, and that's okay because I've loaded some gear in here. If you were to do this on a Tag XL Boondock, you would find it's actually supposed to be right at around 156. Because of the nature of adding weight to a trailer, and specifically adding weight to the back of the trailer, you can actually lighten your tongue weight simply by putting more weight in the back of the camper. We'll do another video about that, talking about balancing your trailer left to right and also front to back with your weight. And front to back will directly impact the value you get on this tongue weight scale. Okay, now we're done. We know what we need to know. Hey everybody, wanted to give you a real quick update. We're actually out camping right now, so I have an opportunity to show you the other way to measure the tongue weight, which is under the tongue jack. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that. All right, as you can see, we're hooked up to our tow vehicle right now. Just on the ball though, we're not fully connected here. But what I wanted to show you is that when you raise up the tongue jack, the little scale fits right on under there. So all we have to do now is, since this is not coupled, it's open right now, we can lift it up on the scale and we can measure the weight that way. So I'm going to switch to the other side so it's a little easier to see the gauge. And then we'll just start raising the scale. You can see it's going down, so let's get over here, take a look at the numbers. See, it's going up, it's about 100 pounds. Now it's going to show a little high until the vehicle disconnects. When that happens, then you're back to your tongue weight of just your camper. Okay, so let's take a look. Looks like we're just over 200 pounds. We are out on the road, so we are fully loaded up with gear, includes coolers filled with ice and water, and all our camping stuff. You can see, I don't know if you could notice when we were sliding off the ball here, but the weight on the scale spiked up a little bit, and then when this disconnected, it dropped back down. So if you are out and you want to make sure you're not over your max tongue weight, that's how you can do it. And then all you have to do is lower it back down right onto the ball and you'll be good to go. So I mentioned that there's other approaches to measuring your tongue weight. I'm not going to go into detail in all of them. This is the easy way to do it if you have a scale and a jack, and I wanted to demonstrate that, but I will tell you how you can find out and go through those other processes. So if you were to look up the owner's manual for a 2021 Tag XL, there's actually a procedure on pages 24 through 28 that describes hooking up your trailer to the tow vehicle, finding a commercial scale, driving onto it, measuring the weight of the vehicle with the trailer connected, disconnecting it, measuring the weight of the vehicle, and also measuring the weight of the trailer. And then you can do some math and you can determine both your hitch weight and the total weight that you're carrying as far as your gross vehicle weight of the trailer. Which for this, just side note, is about 700 pounds of cargo and a maximum axle weight and gross vehicle weight of 2,200 pounds. So that's the 1,500 and some pounds of actual trailer weight plus 700 pounds of gear. So that procedure is described in the owner's manual. And there's one more way you can do this, and that is with a bathroom scale. I'm not going to demonstrate that approach, but I will put some links in the description on how to do that. So essentially what it involves is you build a contraption out of wood, and it'll sit underneath the tongue jacks. So you'll have to put your foot in instead of the wheel, or your leg, whatever you want to call it. And then you have a piece of wood that goes parallel to the ground like that. On one side, you'll have a post supporting it. On the other side, you'll have a scale supporting it. So there's some math in that approach. I'm not going to go into it. I will link some videos in the description that describe it. But essentially, you lower the tongue jack with your pedestal, your foot, your leg, whatever you want to call it, in place, and it will take a measurement on the scale for you. From there, you have to do some multiplication because of the dynamics of the actual measuring tool you built. And from there, you can calculate your tongue weight. It's a valid approach. It's a little more complicated. I didn't have time to build something like that before we were going on this trip, so I opted for the scale since I already have a jack and a nice easy way to measure that. So there you have it, and those are the different approaches you can take. I hope this was helpful for you. Thanks, and thank you for tagging along.